What's going on? What's going on? Keep pounding nation. Welcome to another Carolina Panthers talk video brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming here on the YouTube, the Tube. My name is Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram. So, wanted to get on here and talk some about the second preseason game for the Carolina Panthers, which resulted in another loss. They played against the Jets at home. So, going to talk about some things that stood out to me. But before we get started, don't forget to check out Game Beauty for some awesome video game themed makeup and cosmetic products. If you plan on making a purchase, don't forget to use that promo code blitzball_champ, all in caps, for 10% off of your order. Definitely take advantage of that. It'll be good. It'll be really good. So, this past Saturday night at Bank of America Stadium, Carolina Panthers took another preseason loss to the New York Jets by a final score of 15-12. Now, gonna go over a couple of things that really stood out, positive and negative. Just gonna go down the line. So probably the biggest positive out of this game, the defense. The Carolina Panthers defense. They didn't give up a touchdown this game. You know, they gave up one in the previous game against the Patriots. They did not give up a touchdown this game. So, hey, that's a big plus. That's a very big plus. Shout out to Jamie Robinson. He led in tackles, 7 total. You had a great showing from Claudin Cherilus and rookie draft pick Trevin Wallace. Charles Smith-Wade had a good presence, 4 tackles there. Trevin Wallace had 5 tackles. Let's see. Shout out to Damani Richardson on getting the interception. Got a nice interception, which was a 29-yarder. You know, ran it for 29 yards. So a great interception from him. That was the only turnover of the game, which, you know, was a takeaway for Carolina. So really good to see. Only got 1 sack. The 1 sack went to T.J. Smith. Had a really nice sack on the quarterback. But overall defense looked good. Yes, they gave up a few big plays, especially via penalties, but they kept the Jets out of the end zone. Gave up 5 field goals, but hey, they didn't get into the end zone. So like I said, that's a big victory for the Carolina Panthers defense. And you know, they're continuing to show that they're a bend but don't break defense. I mean, they may not be a top 5 or top 10. They may not have a barrage of takeaways and whatnot, but they're giving this Carolina offense a chance to get on the field. The main thing is they can't be on the field too much, because they're going to need the offense to do their part and put points on the board. Now, when it comes to the offense, big plus there is, of course, Carolina. Although it was right as time expired, Carolina did finally get in the end zone for the first time. It was the handoff to running back Dylan Johnson, who was able to punch it in to the end zone to give their only touchdown of the game. But the Carolina offense finally got into the end zone. It took the end of the second preseason game to do it, but it finally happened. So there's a moral victory there. And speaking of Dylan Johnson, I felt like he had the best game of the offense. 18 carries, 83 yards, and he had the touchdown. So some good hard running there. A few good runs from Mike Boone as well. 6 carries, 22 yards. Jack Plummer, 11 of 18, 42 yards. Got sacked once. Jake Luton, 2 of 2, 19 yards. Jatavion Sanders, 2 catches, 22 yards. Terrace Marshall Jr., 2 catches, 14 yards. Jalen Coker had the 13-yard, 1 catch, 13 yards. But only 61 total yards between the receivers. 56 total passing yards. Or excuse me, no, 61. I'm sorry. Yeah, 61 total passing yards. That's not good. That's not good. Not really much from the passing game. Not much for the passing game. And then, there really wasn't much from the passing game in the previous preseason game against the Patriots, unfortunately. But finally getting into the end zone, that was a bright spot for the Carolina Panthers offense. So there's at least that. Still no starters this game. No starters. So yeah. Like I said, they did a good job defensively overall. Eddie Pinheiro had 2 field goals, to give Carolina their first points of the game, 2 field goals. They had a field goal in the first quarter and a field goal in the third quarter. But, it was definitely a defensive battle for this game. But it was really good to see, the young guys. I really feel like the depth on defense, I think ultimately will be fine for the most part. I definitely feel like they are showing that, they can at least give us something. So, because my whole thing is the depth of this team is really going to be tested this season, for sure. Now, got to talk about some negatives. Once again, the starters didn't play. Now, they do have one more preseason game against the Bills in Buffalo. I still really believe the starters should get at least 1 to 2 series. I think it really is necessary. I totally understand this is preseason. I get it. You want to avoid injuries. I get it. But I just really feel like the joint practices, when you have an opportunity to try some things out in an actual game and you don't do that, I think it could hurt. So, and like I said, it's debatable. But I really feel like this team could have used the starter reps for at least a series or 2, or, maybe even a quarter. Maybe not quite a quarter, but at least a few series. So, that didn't happen. Not sure if that's going to happen in this third and final preseason game, but I hope it does. I really do. Secondly, while I do give, the offensive line a little bit of credit, they only allowed 1 sack, but still, they're still allowing some pressures. And, I'm still a little concerned about the depth at offensive line, but, we'll see. Like I said, they only gave up 1 sack this game. They gave up 5 in the previous game. So, but just passing game is lacking. I really hate to say it, but passing game was lacking. in this game. I mean, only 61 total yards. Yeah, that's not a good look. It's not a good look. And also penalties. Penalties. We had 10 penalties for 84 yards. That's not going to cut it. This team has got to be more disciplined. 10 penalties, that's way too much. Way too much. Lost the time of possession battle. But like I said, we got the only takeaway of the game, so that's cool. Still struggle on third downs. 3 of 11 on third downs. Although we had 12 first downs, which was a lot more than what we had in the previous game. So that's a positive. We had more first downs, but at the same time, the most of our first downs were from penalties. So 4 passing first downs, and or actually no, I'm sorry, 2 were from penalties. I'm sorry. We had more rushing first downs than passing first downs. But still, 12 first downs is not bad. Still not bad. Jets had 14, so had 2 more. So, at least there's that. But got to do better on third down efficiency. 3 of 11. We had 1 more drive than they did, but the Jets had 10 more total plays. They had 57. We had 47. But yeah, got to clean up the penalties. Now, I'll say this, and this is kind of towards Coach Canellis, but that last 2-minute drive, he didn't call a single timeout. I really would have liked to have seen him run a 2-minute or less offense to try to utilize timeouts, get into the end zone, and then attempt an onside kick. This would have been the perfect scenario, the perfect opportunity to test out the onside kick, and he didn't do it. Not only that, he didn't use a single timeout all game. That's kind of a... I mean, don't get me wrong. I know there's some folks that are saying, oh, Dave Canellis is on the hot seat super early. I'm not going to be super critical right now because it's way too early for that. Way too early for that. And this is his first head coaching gig. It's way too early for that. But he has done a few things that have made me go, hey, what was that? And this was one of them. Like, you got a 2-minute drill. You're down by 3. Or excuse me, you're down. Yeah. No. You're pretty much down. Because at the time, it was, let's see. Yeah, you were down 15. It was 15 to 6. It was 15-6. We scored the touchdown to make it 12. And the thing is, you're down 15-6. You have the opportunity to quickly get into the end zone. You have all 3 of your timeouts. You have an opportunity to get into the end zone and then try to kick an onside kick, try to get the ball back, and then you have an opportunity to tie or win the game, which in this case, if there was time left, we would have had an opportunity to kick an extra point, which would have made the score 15-13, which would mean we get an onside kick, we recover it, we get to field goal range, have an opportunity to kick the game-winning field goal. You see, as a head coach, even in preseason, you have the opportunity to try these scenarios out. That's what this is for. And he didn't really run a 2-minute drill to really put the team in position to do that. So it's kind of a bummer, it's a negative. It is a negative because this would have been a perfect scenario to push for that, and then you try out the onside kick, which, like I said, I know they got new rules for the onside kick, but this would have been a good opportunity to try that out, see if you can get it. And if you can get it, bam, you got a chance to win the game. Because these type of scenarios can happen in the regular season. You know what I mean? So when you have the opportunity, you got the ball, you got some time, you got 2 minutes or less, you got some time, run your offense down, call your offense down the field, get into that end zone as quickly as possible. And the thing is, you didn't use a single timeout that whole drive. Not a single timeout. And you're down. So it's like, yeah, I understand it's preseason, but that's why you have this type of game to practice that. You have an opportunity to try that scenario out, and he didn't do that. He didn't really push for that. So that kind of bothered me. That I have to call that out as a negative. But like I said, I'm not going to be super critical because this is his first head coaching gig. And, I don't fully agree with how he's handling, not playing the starters and whatnot. But this is his first head coaching gig. And folks have got to understand it's a big difference between just being a coordinator. He's the head coach. He's the top of the coaches on the team. So it's like, it's a lot more responsibility and just a lot more to do into management and such. So, I'm hopeful that maybe he's getting all the kinks out now and he'll be ready for week 1. Like I said, we got one more game, one more preseason game against the Bills. Is he going to run the starters for a series or two? Honestly, probably not. I'm not really getting that indication, but we'll have to see. I mean, yeah, that's really all I can say. But it was definitely a better game this week than it was the Patriots game, but still a lot to work on. The defense did good, offense, of course, did better. We got more points than we did last week. I mean, we only got 3 points. Like, I was starting to get worried a little bit that we weren't going to score a touchdown in the second game. Because I'm sorry, like, if it ended up being 2 back-to-back preseason games without a single touchdown, that's an issue. That's an issue, especially when you're an offensive-minded head coach that's calling the plays and you can't get into the end zone. Like, that's a problem. Preseason or not, that's a problem. But, like I said, they were able to punch it into the end zone. It was as time expired. And that's another thing, too, with the time management. The coach has got to do a better job at time management. Because when you think about it, you look at the scoring play. That run from Dylan Johnson, he got hit in the backfield, but he was able to, shake the tackle off and still punch it in the end zone. But when you think about it, that was the final play of the game because time expired. That was the final play of the game. He doesn't break that tackle, game is over. They don't get in the end zone. So just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. And on that drive, had all 3 timeouts, didn't use a single one. That's not good management, especially when it's fourth quarter and you're down. That's not good management. And you have the opportunity to get in the end zone and then get the ball back with a successful onside kick. That was the perfect time, perfect opportunity to push for that strategy, to push for that scenario. They didn't even try to do that. So, yeah. But final score, 15-12. Jets win. One more game. This will be back on the road again at the Bills. But it'll be very interesting to see how this 53-man roster looks. And just, they're dealing with injuries and whatnot. But we'll see what happens. But come week 1, I mean, we got the Saints on the road. Like, they're going to need to be ready. They're going to need to be really ready because it's no more dress rehearsal. So, we'll see what happens. But that's all that I got. Don't forget to check out Game Beauty when you have a chance. And let me know y'all's thoughts. How are y'all feeling on this preseason game? I know it was another loss. It was a little better than the previous game. Let me know what you liked, what you didn't like. And just let me know how y'all are feeling. How y'all are feeling about the team, about the decisions made and whatnot. I would love to hear from y'all. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell while you're at it. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. For another Carolina Panthers talk, brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming, here on the U to the Tube. My name is Jason Ingram. As always, keep pounding. We're going to get through this. God bless y'all. Y'all have a blessed week. I will see y'all in the next video and or live stream. Peace and later.